As a mom, do you feel overwhelmed with the amount of clothes that your kids have? What about your limited amount of closet space and mental capacity to keep track of all of these things? Do your kids seem to have a million outfits but only want to wear one, maybe two if you're lucky, and that's because it's in the wash? It's super hard to keep up with all the stuff that comes along with kids. Smallest people in the family have the most things. In today's video, I'm going to share my top tips on managing your kids' closets, especially if you live in a cramped apartment like I do here in New York City, as well as sustainable ways to keep you organized and to teach your kids good habits as they grow. If you're new here, my name is Julie and I teach moms how to schedule their time, organize their lives, and change their mindset so that they can focus on what really matters to them and their families. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button, make sure that your bell notification is turned on, give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive in. It can be super overwhelming when you've never had a child before, determining what kind of clothes they may need, depending on the seasons, how much they'll grow, will they fit, all this kind of stuff. As a general rule of thumb, I would say you probably need maybe 3 to 5 of the similar type of thing, depending on your child. Yeah, babies need a little bit more because they mess more, but as your kid gets a little bit older, and if you have access to a washing machine or you can hand wash things, you really probably only need 3 or 4 of the same thing. But for us, that could mean 4 or 5 t-shirts, 3 to 4 pairs of pants, maybe 5 pairs of underwear, 6 pairs of underwear, anything that you feel would be manageable for you with washing and that kind of thing. Bear in mind that the more clothes you have, the more you have to create space for them, the more you have to look after them and keep track of them, so having less might actually work out much better in your favor. When deciding on clothes for your children, and at least in those initial years you get to decide what they wear, I like to think of functionality for kids. For me personally, I really like clothes that are easy to move in, that wash well, that are very functional for children. So for me, I would always choose a kind of tracksuit style material, something a little bit more stretchy versus something a little more rigid, such as denim, because I think with little kids they really need to be able to feel their body and explore, and you want something that can just get thrown in the wash easily, no big deal, doesn't take too long to dry, and is super comfortable for them. Something that I have learned again and again is that whenever I buy ahead for clothes, so if I buy clothes on sale anticipating in a year's time or even 6 months time that my child will wear this and this and this, I usually end up regretting it, because what I don't take into consideration is my child's personal preference and also other factors that maybe I can't control. So for example, you see a really cute coat for your daughter that's X amount of dollars and you think this is going to be amazing for 6 months time when it's winter. Well, what happens if it's not cold enough? What happens if you spend the winter somewhere else where it's warm? Or most likely scenario, she just point blank refuses to wear it. You want to make sure that you're not buying clothes in advance. We have such an abundance of clothes available to us that I think you could probably get something very easily if you needed it in a pinch. I'm all about sustainability in fashion, and this includes hand-me-downs. So here's the thing, just keep in mind if you are accepting clothes, used clothes from a friend, or that when accepting used clothes, bear in mind that people have different styles and this may not suit your particular lifestyle or aesthetic. If someone is kind enough to gift you with used clothes or hand-me-down clothes, I would always just clarify before you even see the clothes. So it's not about the clothes, but clarify whether they would like them back. Because you never know, they might be lending you clothes, and you know, sometimes with kids' clothes, they're not going to be in great shape when you give them back. But also you want to reserve the right to pass them on to somebody else or to donate them if they're not your style or they don't fit in your wardrobe. Or if simply you just don't have the space to look after them or store them, or you have a million pairs of blue pants and you don't need so many and you think it would be better served with someone else. Especially because we're talking about small closets and minimalism in this video with regards to kids' clothes, you want to make sure that you are able to freely give away the clothes that someone else may have given you without any guilt. As your kids get older, you may want to try and incorporate them into your buying choices. So ideally, you would have the clothes in front of you and you would ask your child, okay, choose one, which one do you like the best? Somehow get them involved in the process. Maybe now we're doing that more online, not in person so much, but if you can, especially with an older child, I'd probably say, you know, my daughter is 2.5, almost 2.5, and I feel like she has an opinion about what she wears. It's all pink and flowers and everything, even though she has a lot of different choices in clothes. So she always goes back for the same thing, and I think if I asked her what would she like, she would be able to tell me. So kids even as young as 2 could probably have an opinion about what they're going to wear, and this is going to help you, because trying to get a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or any child to wear something they don't want to wear is just not a battle that you want to have. Keep in mind when you are looking to keep clothes, how easy it is for them to be put on, especially shoes, how easy it is to take off, how easy it is to care for them, and keep that in mind when you are bringing new clothes into your home. If you are having trouble with kind of paring down the clothes that you no longer want, just remember that the more clothes you have, the more difficult it is to keep them under control. Also think about in your own closet that you probably have 5 outfits that you wear all the time, that you feel so comfortable in, that you just feel like the king of the world, queen of the world, and you always go back to those clothes. So it's kind of the same with kids. They don't need 500 sweatshirts or t-shirts or whatever, because it's too overwhelming. It's like when you go to the cereal aisle in a supermarket and you see 25 different types of Cheerios, you're just gonna go for the one that looks the most familiar, because your brain just can't process all that extra stimuli. So keep that in mind. The same is for your children, even more. They're learning so much, they're bombarded with so much information. Having a few core pieces that they really like, that you like, that are easy and practical for your needs, for different seasons and different settings or whatever, is basically all you need. You need way less clothes than you think. Then obviously children are growing fast through their clothes, and you might want to keep clothes for a sibling or something like that. So have a little place where you keep clothes for as they get older, just as how you would have a little place to discard clothes if you were planning to pass them on to somebody. And keep those clothes, maybe put a label on it so that you know this is age 3 to 4 or whatever it is, and then you can always go back to those clothes before buying any more. I would also say regularly audit your kids' clothes so that you can check as the seasons change, or if it's been about 6 months, I would probably say it's a good time to do it. Make sure that things still fit, that shoes still fit, that things are in good condition, and that you still plan to wear them. And this will allow you to have a bit more space in your closet, which translates to more mental space, and it's much better for your kids as well. Remember that fast fashion is designed for you to buy as many things as possible. So clothes will be super cheap and super affordable, but they're not necessarily designed to last for very long. They're very focused on trends, and the ethical concepts around how these clothes are manufactured can be a little questionable. The same goes for kids' clothes, especially because people kind of treat kids' clothes as more disposable because they're not going to wear them for very long. But I think if you take that same amount of budget that you allocate for clothes and you buy 1 or 2 high quality things, especially if you have more than one child, or if you have another child that you intend to gift that piece of clothing to, you're far likely to get much better satisfaction, much better quality out of that one item than if you had to buy 5 kind of fast fashion versions of the same thing. Teaching kids as young as sort of 3, 4, 5 years old that clothes have a value and that we need to look after them is just a great habit to set them up. Allowing them to understand the value of money a little bit when it comes to clothing might help them appreciate the hard work that you put in order to buy them these clothes. Part of feeling less overwhelmed with clutter and stuff is having some kind of system. So this goes the same way with clothes. Choose an organization style that you like, or that works in your space, whether that's hanging everything up or having things in drawers. I love the KonMari method. I love her books and her philosophy. So I have kind of organized my kids' clothes sort of in a KonMari style, and that's something that has become a habit for me, and I just keep up with it. And then we keep that style throughout for all the clothes. You can also obviously hang clothes up depending on what your space has, but I have chosen this particular method and in the drawers that I have it in because this means my children have access to their clothes, which gives them more autonomy to choosing clothes, taking more of an independent approach to dressing themselves, which is something that I am aiming for. That's about it for now about how I keep a minimalist clothing closet for my kids and how I hope to carry this routine and habit forward for them. Also, we have a small new compartment. My children are sharing a small little closet. We need to really be on top of how many clothes we have so that we don't get overwhelmed and we can keep track of everything. I would love to hear how you decide what clothes to bring into your home for your kids. Leave that in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!